John.
Turns that tower 5 stories high, making that slope steeply at 33 degrees. Competition arguably unparalleled in stock car racing. Yes, this must be Talladega. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to the world's fastest, largest, and most competitive stock car facility, Talladega Superspeedway, here in Talladega, Alabama. Today, the site of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Mountain Dew 500. After 3 and 28 events, 93 champion Tim Steele has a comfortable 165-point advantage. Two-time series champion Bobby Boucher in 5th spot. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and welcome to Talladega. What a beautiful day here in Central Alabama. You know, the weather is good outside, but one of our own is under the weather. Benny Parsons has the flu. Will be joining us tomorrow for our live coverage of the Winston Cup event. You know, the ARCA cars have been coming here since way back in 1969. 33 events. There have been 19 different winners. Hey, that's how competitive the series is. In fact, last year, a rookie peanut farmer from Cuthbert, Georgia, I should say, Harris Devane, nearly won this race. Came out of turn 4 and ran out of gas. And folks, the racetrack looks easy, but looks can be deceiving. For more, let's go down to the pits and Kyle Petty.
This is one of the easiest places physically to drive. You just get in a car, put your foot on the floor, and turn left for however many times until they throw the checkered flag. Also, but on the reverse side of that, it's one of the toughest places mentally, because with the restrictor plates, you've got to know where 15 or 20 cars are at one time, not where 1 or 2 cars are like you're on a short track. This is also tough for young guys who come here and they're not mentally ready to run a racetrack like this. It's also so tough in the pits. You come here, these guys come with inexperienced pit crews. They're real inexperienced about changing tires, jacking cars up, doing different things. You get tires that roll out across pit road. There's a lot of mistakes that can be made on fuel mileage figuring, on when to pit, when not to pit, when the leaders pit, when the leaders don't pit. It's so mixed up here, you never know what's going to happen at Talladega. Weber?
Well, Kyle, the top 10 is a blend of proven and promising talent. 1993 Series champion Tim Steele sits on the pole. He's poised with the points lead and qualified at a speed more than 192 miles per hour, a speed that would have put him outside the front row next to Ernie Irvin for tomorrow's Winston Select 500. Next to him today, the defending Series champion, Andy Hillenberg, who finished 4th at Daytona this spring. In the second row, Harris Devane in the 33 car sits and reflects on what happened this day 1 year ago, when his car and his dreams ran out of gas while leading just 1 lap from the finish line. Next to him, Doug Reed, just 21 years old, but he comes from the racing-rich community of Hueytown, Alabama. What fireworks and emotion might we see if a new Hueytown hero goes home to victory lane at Talladega today? Also in the top 10, rising stars like Jack Sprague and also Ron Barfield. And in the 6th spot is the 97 car of Shane Doles, a Pontiac nicknamed Showtime for all the airtime it got while his team struggled to get him through speed weeks at Daytona. The green flag is just minutes away, then 312 miles before the checkers comes out. Someone's dream will come true today, but for who? We'll know in just over 2 hours. Now, the 2-time Winston Cup champion, Ed Jarrett.
Bill, one thing that a race driver has to learn early in his career is to get the feel of the pants, seat of the pants feel, I should say, of a race car. Most of them get that on a dirt track or a short asphalt track. You got to get that. Know how the car feels when you go into the corner. Well, that's not exactly the way that you need for it to feel here at Talladega. You got to get the feel of high speeds and drafting. Experience in drafting is so important on this racetrack. That's the next lesson that they have to learn. And many have said that this is somewhat of a drafting university here at the Talladega Superspeedway. And we certainly have some in the field today who don't have a lot of that drafting experience, but they'll get a learning experience here today. Joining us is Ray Dunlap, who is the media relations director for the ARCA Series, replacing Benny Parsons today, and glad to have you aboard.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Ned. I wish Benny was here, but it's a beautiful day to go racing. You know, you were talking about the inexperience in this field. Well, you've got to run your first super speedway race somewhere, and that's one of the nice things about this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. Guys like Davey Allison and Grant Adcox have used this series. Davey in the early 80s and Grant in the late 80s. Davey won 4 times here before he went to Winston Cup, and Grant won 5. But Tim Steele is the only driver in the field today who's won here. So today, we very well may see a brand new Talladega winner.
Guys, 40 cars will start today. Our Suzuki starting lineup has Tim Steele, the 1993 winner, the 1993 Series champion, on the front row alongside last year's Series champion Andy Hillenburg. Back in row 2, Harris Devane. Remember the heartbreak of a year ago? We just talked about that. He's beside the Hueytown hustler Doug Reed, just 21 years of age. Row 3, Mark Thompson. He is a veteran. His car always runs well. And how about Shane Doles, the Cinderella story from Daytona? Row 4. Mark Gibson, Daytona Beach, Florida, former Rookie of the Year. He will run well today. And the latest winner on the Truck Series, Jack Sprague, driving for Rick Hendrick. Row 5, Ron Barfield Jr., a 5th and a 4th in 2 starts this year. He drives for Bill Elliott. And beside him, the runner-up in Atlanta, Bob Hill. As you look at the rest of the starting lineup, some very, very good cars back in the pack. Watch for Jeff McClure and Bobby Gerhardt to come in a hurry. Farther back in the pack, Dill Whittemore, co-Rookie of the Year, will start 22nd. 40 cars in line, 312 miles. That's the event, 500 kilometers, 117 laps. Bill Weber, Kyle Petty, Ray Dunlap joining us from ARCA. Ned Jarrett and yours truly, Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. 4th stop on the 28 race, ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series Tour, as we are set for green at Talladega.
Jerry, as you were going through the lineup, you saw a pretty good difference in the speed of some of the cars from the front to the back, but you can make up a lot of that difference here in drafting at Talladega if you have that experience that we talked about and know how to do it.
Start finish line all the way exiting the tri-oval area here at Talladega. 18-degree banks in the tri-oval, 33 degrees in the turn. Second steepest bank on the NASCAR Tour, and the steepest on the ARCA Tour. A challenge back for 3rd spot. Harris Devane makes a move to the inside, but also a challenge up front by Hillenburg.
He wants to go to the inside. He wants to lead this first lap.
Ford versus Chevy here, Jerry, and we're looking at the car right there that won the Daytona race back in February. Jeff Purvis went to victory lane in that car, and Kenny Schrader bought the race car, says, we're going to take that to Talladega.
So who is going to lead this first lap? Side by side as they come to the line, it looks like it might be Hillenburg.
So it'll be Chevrolet leading first time by on the inside. They are side by side, 2 rows of drafting cars at over 190 miles an hour. As Andy Hillenburg, the 1995 Series champion, is a leader. They are door to door, a pair of Fords for second spot. 33, Harris Devane. And back behind them, they are 3 wide, Ned.
This is a wide racetrack, and you can do that. You get a little momentum coming off the turn. You say, man, I can just drive right on by him. And then you get out there, sort of in air that has not been disturbed by another car, or opened up by another car, and then you don't have as much momentum as you thought you had.
Good move by Kevin Ray, second-generation driver. His dad, John Ray, owns a trucking company here right outside of Talladega. Mark Thompson, the Midway Islands Ford Thunderbird, trying to make a move. Now Steele becomes the meat in the sandwich, and he tries to squeeze by.
Wow, what a move!
And Doug Reed, Doug says, oh, wait a minute, that's a little too squirrely. And Steele's car still being buffeted by the wind.
Well, that was an example. He had some momentum, and he thought he could just blow right by them on the inside. And once he got up in there, he ran against hard air, and those 2 cars were pushing air out from each other, and that was very thick air that he got into there, and it slowed him down once he got there.
Car slowing on the backstretch, caution on the speedway. Looks to be the car number 99 of Drew White out of Inglis, Florida. The White Brothers Racing Pontiac. There's Drew, and his car rolling to a halt as they will race back to the line. Caution being waved. Andy Hillenburg has been the leader. They are side by side for second. Here comes Mark Thompson. He's the black car on the inside. It'll be Harris Devane, and then Thompson running door to door with Steele. Looks like Steele may have nipped him at the line. So caution for the first time today at Talladega Superspeedway, the Mountain Dew 500 in the early laps, as we have got a barn burner here under a beautiful day. Back in a moment. Today's Speed Road coverage of the ARCA Mountain Dew 500 is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By the more than 1,250 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. Getting set for green to come out once again. First caution flag today due to a car that stalled and was rolling down the backstretch through white. Floridian in a Pontiac. And the car number 99 has gone back behind the wall. There they are pushing Drew White's car back behind the wall. And what a beginning we had. What a wild scramble up front. Tim Steele was the pole sitter but did not lead the first lap as Andy Hillenberg made it 2 wide. Then they started shuffling it 3 wide.
Got that. 10-4.
I think Tim was a little bit surprised there. I thought he figured that he
Lay
would
back
be
a
able
little bit,
to
get a run at
pull
him.
away and get a run on it, but couldn't do it.
behind him. Here we go. The car ahead of me is smoking a little bit.
Listening to some of the spotters talking with their drivers. That's Bob.
Green.
That's Bob Jack talking to Gary Weiswell, his driver.
Guys, what a different start we had this time down as the cars were all single file. Every car is on the lead lap. Here they come down. The green is out. Hillenberg leads again.
Here's Steele looking to the outside. Those 3 cars were able to pull away a little bit.
They pull away somewhat from Mark Thompson's Ford. They've got about a 10-car advantage as they are now side by side for a second. And here's where they get a run coming off turn 2.
Yes, they get a good run coming off there, and Tim Steele has to drop in behind Hillenberg. I think he sort of hoped that Hillenberg would pull up there and they could draft together there for a little bit. And you see they've already put 3 or 4 car lengths between them and Dane.
Well, a lot of those cars were bobbling in that 3-wide drafting that they were doing there. Now with this single file restart, hopefully they'll be able to sort out their running positions, make a run on some other drivers.
It didn't take long for that other packer car to catch up to those cars.
There's Ron Barfield's New Holland tractor for Thunderbird. Great run to begin the year for Barfield. Outstanding effort. Finished 5th at Daytona, 4th at Atlanta, driving for Bill Elliott. Behind him, you're watching from the roof cam. That's the Quaker State roof cam of Jack Sprague, driving his first ever ARCA event. He's driven a couple times here at Talladega in Busch cars, but he is the latest winner of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, driving here from Rick Hendrick. How about coming from Phoenix with a truck, man, to Talladega?
That's quite a change. Here's a battle for third as Mark Thompson moves on the inside of Harris DeBane. Is he going to be able to do it? He needs a little drafting help, and it looks like he might. No, he's not going to get it. The other car's going to go up there behind DeBane instead.
We got a lot of Fords running right there, Ned. There's 4 Fords in a row running in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place.
And 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are all Ernie Elliott engines. You see him go by. There's the Isaac Leisco car. Mark Gibson, the 59 car. Mark running a Ford to try so long to get that Dodge Avenger and the crossover products to be competitive in ARCA. Has been very, very competitive now in the Ford. Hillenberg, our leader, up front. They are side by side. You're riding along. That's the Midway Island roof cam of Mark Thompson.
Boy, Mark pulled out to make that pass for 3rd place, and look how far back he has dropped. He just got down on the inside. No one would go with him in a draft. He expected that. They didn't come with him. Instead, they went with Harris today, and now he's struggling back there side by side. If they're not careful running side by side, that pack of 6 cars up front will get away from him.
This is the 6th car he's running right beside there, Perry Tripp from Fredericktown, Missouri. And Mark, yeah, I think you're right, Ned. It did get him a little bit loose.
Perry Tripp qualified 12th. Has not finished a race in Talladega. And right in front of him, that's Bobby Gerhardt, the car number 85. And here's the lead pack. Hillenberg the leader, Steele, then DeVane. It is Chevrolet, Ford, and Ford. Doug Reed having a good run, the 05, the youngster from Houston, Alabama. Doug now 21 years of age, along Lewis Ford. He's back in the 4th spot.
Also have a Pontiac up there. Jerry Shane Dole's running back there right behind Mark Gibson. And these two really are kind of like teammates. They work out of the same shop there. Mark does a lot of the body work and work on Shane's number 97 Cellular 1 Pontiac.
Huge group of cars drafting out of turn 4. And that's the way to get around here in a hurry, is to go single file.
Absolutely. We saw those cars running side by side there a moment ago, and they lost a lot of ground, and they figured out very quickly that they need to get in single file, and this group has figured it out too. They need to stay in single file. That's the fastest way around here.
That's Bill Whittemore, Ned, back there. That group is back in 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Running along with Andy Thurman there in the Akita Copier Chevrolet. Also, he said Whittemore, and I think Ed Dixon's in there, number 51.
And it's in front of Gary Weinbrower driving for Bob Shack in the car number 75. Looks like Blaze Alexander was a part of that. Back up front, they're going to try to draft by on the bottom of the racetrack. Tim Steele, he's the red car, white number 16. He has 4 cars lined up behind him as they try to give him a push, a little bit of oomph by Andy Hillenberg.
And you see how much that draft helped going into that turn. It just pushed him right on out in front. Now, Devane needs some help, and it looks like he's going to get it. That whole crew is lined up down on the inside. Left Hillenberg up on the outside. Chances are he's going to go back to 6th place when this is all over.
Hillenberg still high. Here comes Devane, Doug Reed, Mark Thompson, Mark Gibson in the 59 car.
And look at Harris Devane just blows by Tim Steele.
Here's Philip Young, the Dallas, Georgia driver. This Pontiac also slowing, so still under green. Georgia Peanut Commission. That's a sponsorship on Harris Devane's car. He is leading at Talladega. And here's the 26 car. There's apparently some contact with a 26 of Blaze Alexander.
He was running right behind Gary Weinbrower in car number 75. And, yeah, I think there is some damage on that car.
Here's Steele going by on the outside of Harris Devane. We understand that there might be some debris on the backstretch, but they are racing hard up front. Steele's car seems to really be good.
Yellow's out,
1-2 on the outside. The yellow flag is coming out, so they'll race back to the line.
They will race back to the yellow flag, side by side up front. Harris Devane, co-rookie of the year on the inside. The 1993 Series champion and pole sitter Tim Steele. 2 Fords, side by side, 2 Ernie Elliott engines, and they have the car behind them, Doug Reed, boxed in to the caution flag. Out of the tri-oval, second caution of the day. Boy, you got to call that one. That's
wow. They might have, there's the debris that we were talking about, the reason for the caution. When those guys came to the start, we'll see if we can see it fly off of the car. There it is. There's a piece that flies off. That's off of the 26 car, Blaze Alexander.
I'll tell you, Ned, I think the 33 car beat Tim Steele back, so Steele maybe led 1 lap in that series of racing, but not back to the start-finish line.
Under caution for the second time today at Talladega. Pontiac safety car on the racetrack. Great crowd on hand. Couldn't ask for a prettier day here in Central Alabama. We'll be right back. Back at Talladega Superspeedway. Second caution flag today due to debris on the racetrack. Apparently coming off the car number 26 of Blaze Alexander of Montoursville, Pennsylvania. Let's check in Blaze's pits with Bill Weber.
Well, Dr. Punch, this is the left front tire off the 26 car, Blaze Alexander. Now, I talked to a Hoosier tire engineer. Down in here, there is a puncture point, so he did run over something and cut the tire. Why do they run inner liners on these cars, on these tires? Look at this. It's in great shape. That saved Blaze and his car and his crew from a lot more work. He's 3rd in points, but they've got a damaged left front, this tire cut down, and it's going to cost Blaze a lot of time. He's supposed to come back in here, get a little more work done on his car before they go back to green.
And Bill, he lost a lap. He's now being shown in 34th position, but needs to try to hang on for those points. Only his second time at Talladega. He finished 13th here last year in his rookie run. Look at Tim Steele. You think he is concentrating then? I mean, that is total focus.
Absolutely. He's looking in this rearview mirror as well as looking ahead, wanting to get just the right start here. He's focused.
Competitors, you see the restart lap 17th is car number 44. That is Jack Sprague. He only has 4th gear, we are told, so he will have a little bit of a tough time on some of the slower restarts.
That's really going to hurt him, Jerry, because it takes so long to get these restrictor plate engines up to speed. You just don't have that burst of speed when you accelerate, and to only have 4th gear is going to hurt him.
You guys, you're talking about the points a little bit there with Blaze moving up. He was 5th in the points before last weekend, but we ran at the half-mile Salem, Indiana Speedway. That was the first short track race of 1996 for this Bondo Mar-Hyde series, and that really jumbles the points around after we went to Daytona, then Atlanta, and now back to a super speedway here at Talladega.
Let's check in the Kyle Petty in the pits. Kyle?
Yes, it's not Jack Sprague in the 44 car that's only got 4th gear. It's the 94 car Barfield that's only got 4th gear. And you can see, if you can see where he started up about 5th or 6th on that restart. He's back to almost 19th or 20th now. They're going to suffer the rest of the day with it, just like it.
however.
And they wanted the 44 car and Jack Sprague to know that. That's where the radio communication came, because they wanted him to know the guy in front of him has only got one gear. Don't be running into him.
Well, we saw the 44 car take off on the restart, so that's a heck of a restart for fourth gear, but that now makes sense. Thank you, Kyle and Bill. So Ron Barfield, the New Holland Tractor Ford, only with fourth gear, as Harris Devane, the Georgia Peanut Commission Ford.
His car is strong down on the inside. He has already passed 10 speed one time down there and just drove around again. But now, remember, Steele's car has been working good in turns 1 and 2 in particular on the high side. So let's see if he's able to pull back up there. You got 4 cars down on the inside. Here comes Steele. Boy, he gets a run going into turn 1. Keeps it up high, lots of running room, but look there. He just drives right back past him, but here comes Devane back on the inside again.
Best seat in the house, maybe Mark Thompson, the Midway Island Phoenix Air Ford. You're riding along with his road cam. He's back in about 7th spot, right behind this cluster of cars, door to door. Steele now gets a challenge on the inside again, and Harris Devane, I think, owns turn 3.
He is very strong. His car is down on the inside in turn 3, and even coming off of turn 2. Then Steele gets a run through the tri-oval here. On the front straightaway.
Doug Reed there down on the inside in car 05. He was the outside pole setter here 1 year ago in 1995. Looks like he's got a pretty strong car again today.
And we are told the 1990 Rookie of the Year, Glenn Brewer, is behind the wall. And Lewandowski Construction Chevrolet. What a tough year. He's had 2 motor failures at Daytona and Atlanta. He didn't go to Salem. He's desperately looking for a sponsor so he can go to Pensacola next week.
A little bit of touch there between the 05 and the 69 car.
That's 59, Mark Gibson on the outside there, Ned. And yeah, there was definitely some contact. You don't want to do that when you're right in the center of the straightaway where you've got about your highest amount of speed.
It looks like a 66 of Mark Thompson. They just drafts right up on him, then falls back when they come off the corner.
Full screen, that's where you should be picking up in the draft.
Mark Steele, Ken Steele, our leader, side by side. Andy Hillenberg, Harris Devane in 2nd spot, 2nd and 3rd. They are door to door. Dougie Reed, good run by Mark Gibson, the Isaac Leesco Ford. 86 Rookie of the Year, as you see it. That's the red car right in front of Mark Thompson, the car 59.
And the second Packer car, see, a moment ago we only had, 6 or 7 cars up there in the lead draft? Now that has changed. Those cars running side by side in front has allowed the others to catch up.
You know, you talk about experience, Jerry. On the outside there, Mark Gibson at number 59 has the most experience of any driver in this field. He's gone 1,180 laps on this racetrack here at Talladega. That's over 3,000 miles in competition.
There's the car 44, Jack Sprague. You saw Bob Hill a moment ago. We were on top of his car, the Advanced Auto Contractors Hotline Chevy. And the 94 is drafted back up. We talked about, Ned mentioned it will take him a while with the restarts. There's the 50 car, Jeff McClure, who finished 5th here in 93 at Talladega, likes the super speedways.
Jeff has led on almost all the super speedways we run with, Jerry. Boy, they are really getting bunched up there as they come down the back straightaway. You would certainly think that Ron Barfield's going to have a strong car today. He finished 4th at Atlanta and 5th at Daytona, so he's got a very good 1996 racing season underway.
I think there are 17 cars in this lead draft. I counted 16, and one of them's moving around so much there I couldn't count him, so I think it's 17 of them.
Well, I counted 17 to make you feel any better, Ned. They come at you over 190 miles an hour. We told you it's exciting and arguably the most competitive super speedway stock car facility. And look at Bobby Boucher, 2-time series champion, 1992 and 94. Trying to hook up to that lead draft. Word is he may lose his sponsor, Quality Farm and Fleet, after today. Looking for a sponsor possibly to complete the year. What a great young man and a great race team. Back up front, Hillenberg leads them 17 cars. They flatten off the 33-degree banks out of turn 2, 4,000 feet down the backstretch. Doug Reed in the car 05, a car that took 11 days to build. They worked day and night for 11 days. They bought the chassis from Billy S. and finished the car at 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Green flag racing action from Talladega. 22 of 117 laps are complete, and Andy Hillenberg is our leader. We'll be back. Back at Talladega, Alabama, ARCA Mountain Dew 500. Andy Hillenberg, our leader. Then they are door to door for 2nd spot. 3 Fords and a Pontiac, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And look behind them, they are 3 wide.
Yeah, and this pack is losing the draft of that front group because of that 2 and 3 abreast racing. But they're certainly thrilling the race fans, and us here in the TV. Ooh,
Whoa,
wow.
Harris DeVane had gone underneath the car number 12 of Frog Hall and then got back up and almost caught Harry Tripp.
Here's a car that just went out of our screen there on the right side there, Jerry, number 86. That's Kelly Denton, and what a show he put on at Atlanta. That's an intermediate car, and I'm surprised he's able to go up here and run with these other guys.
Riding along on top of the Bob Hill car.
How close they come as they come through the crowd over here. Very, very close.
My goodness. Here's the Kelly Denton car you were just talking about a moment ago, Ray. Young man's a rookie out of Bristol, Virginia. These cars side by side. That is Sprague and McClure. That's Bob Hill.
Whoa, contact!
They touch again at 190 miles an hour, and Ned, that is high speed.
Ooh, and they're still at it. They haven't given up yet. They better.
My goodness. Finally, McClure gets in front of Sprague, and here comes Bob Hill and Harris DeVane as they zip by one car slow on the inside. That's Mike Cicchetti.
Pedal House's sponsorship on his car. That's his first race ever in this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. Out for the first time. Yeah, it was some great racing up there. McClure has never won a race in ARCA competition, although he has finished second a couple of times at Pocono, but he has led an awful lot of laps on the super speedways.
That's the car number 50. We're talking about the UAW Ham Beans Health Source Ford.
Scott Neal is out with the transmission problem.
Well, that's too bad, Ned. They just borrowed a motor this morning from Darrell Waltrip to put in car number 24 after they broke a motor that was built by the Ford team. So they've had a pretty rough week, and to be out with a transmission this early in the race.
Harris DeVane in the 33, the rookie Kelly Denton in the 86 on the outside. There, Denton finished 12th at Daytona, was running second at Atlanta, had a problem, spun the car, finished 14th. Was 13th, 14th, and 15th, and back up front. Our leader is Andy Hillenberg. He leads Tim Steele, the pole sitter, the HS guy, Ford Thunderbird. Let's take a look at the career laps led on the super speedway.
By leading 11 laps here, that has moved him up past Jeff Purvis. You see, he went to 529 here, so that moves him up into some pretty good company with Charlie Glotzback and Grant Adcox. Although coming into this race, Steele had only led 49 laps at this racetrack.
Boy, there's some super speedways they're going to run later in the year. He could really add to that total.
Yeah, going to Charlotte 3 times this season. We'll be back to Michigan twice this season, and we'll close it all out in November at Atlanta.
Here's Mark Stahl. Take a look at how far he has come in. He started back in 37th spot.
Well, that drafting experience means a lot, and he has taken advantage of it.
All the way to 5th spot. Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
This morning, as we went out on the grid, Mark Stahl's crew chief grabbed me and he said, "Hey, watch us. We didn't get to qualify yesterday. We didn't get to because of the rained out situation. But he said, we're going to put on a show coming from the back to the front." He started 37th. He's up to 4th or 5th now. He is putting on a show. And let me tell you what, it's not easy to come from that far back. I walked down here to his pit stall, and his crew chief looked at me and said, "I told you so." And he's exactly right. He's in contention now, guys.
Buddy Hobbs, the crew chief on car number 32 there, the Auto Bell Car Wash number 32.
And they're looking for sponsorship on that car. I guess some additional sponsorship.
Like to look at Ronnie at the quarter panel, completely empty there. Shane Gold, who's running in 4th. Mark Stahl, who finished 5th in this race a year ago. Right behind him was Ron Barfield. You saw a 94 car. And there's the car number 97, last car in the frame on left side of your screen.
Bobby Gerhardt there in number 85. And there's Shane.
About 3 or 4 spots that last time by, the rookie driver, 701 Pontiac.
Boy, Hillenberg is really setting a torrid pace out there. You know, this year we qualified a lot slower in this race than last year. Bob Shack was on the pole last season at about 196 miles an hour. Tim Steele's pole speed here was about 192, so a significant difference after they've added a bunch of spoiler on the back of these race cars.
Andy Hillenberg finished 4th at Daytona. This is not the car he drove at Daytona. You were talking a little bit earlier, Ray. After the race in Daytona, Ken Schrader sat down and had a cup of iced tea with James Finch, who owned the winning car. And after they were sitting there sipping their tea, he said, "Hey, I'd like to buy your racing team." So Finch sold both of his ARCA cars and all 4 engines. And this is the car that won in Daytona with Jeff Purvis aboard. Green flag action continues at the world's fastest stock car facility, Talladega, Alabama, with Andy Hillenburg as our leader. We'll be right back. Back at Talladega, Alabama, continuing action in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Supercar Mountain Dew 500. Andy Hillenburg being shown as our leader. How about action tonight at 7:30 p.m.? Philly versus Tampa Bay NHL playoffs. The Flyers lead the series 3-2 and can clinch tonight against the Lightning. That's NHL playoffs tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
1995, Andy Hillenburg had 2 wins throughout the season on his way to the championship in this series. Back in 1993, Tim Steele won it, so you can see some championship form running on the front of this race up there. Andy Hillenburg, by the way, was enshrined over in the International Motorsports Hall of Fame on Thursday night as the 1995 champion. And if you're ever down here around Talladega, you owe it yourself to go check out that facility. It's really a beautiful place.
Well, that is quite a sight right behind the main grandstands here at Talladega. Some of the cars that have been there over the years, and some of the greats that were a part of that Hall of Fame. Bobby Isaac, one of the ones being inducted. Ricky Evans this week and others. Second pack catching the front ones there.
Yeah, the first 6 there had pulled away a little bit, but now the 6 behind them have hooked up together in a single draft and are coming back up to them. And not long ago, we saw 17 cars in that lead draft. Now there are 5 that they're losing speed, losing time to the leader, so it's going to be a 12-car draft here in just a moment.
That's Bob Hill's car, number 46 there, the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet with Contractors Hotline as their associate sponsor. Remember that wild ride he took down at Daytona. Sure glad to see Bob here competing.
Bob, this is the first of 4 events for that that's Advanced Auto Parts sponsorship, but it's an old A.G. Dillard Hardy's car, former Winston Cup car. What a great run he had at Atlanta, finishing second down there to Tim Steele.
They're completing the 35th lap. They should be making pit stops somewhere, I guess, in the 40 to 45 lap range.
Well, I can tell you that Harris Devane knows exactly how long his car will go on the field. He pitted on lap 67, and on lap 117 he ran out of gas. So he made it 49 3/4 laps back here last year to finish second as he coasted across and took the checkered flag.
Yeah, and one thing you don't want to do is stretch that fuel mileage too far here, because if you run out once you pass that pit limit and have to coast all the way back around, you're history.
Don't think he'll do that this year, do you?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
I don't think he learned that. Yeah.
Single file racing around the racetrack up front. Andy Hillenburg. Bobby Gerhardt mixing it up. Car number 85. Good run for the former Rookie of the Year. Gerhardt, Rookie of the Year. The Gerhardt's Truck World Chevrolet. Finished 10th at Daytona in this car. Started back in 14th, now moving his way toward the top 5.
Well, but he's moving his way back towards 11th or 12th place, too. He got down on the inside there, Jerry. It just simply didn't work for him. Now those cars are going by on the outside.
Like I said, he's going back. Okay. There's Shane Doles, the rookie that, well, what a great time we had in Daytona with Shane. I know he struggled and his team worked so hard, but Shane Doles has really rebounded somewhat from that misery at the beginning of the year. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Right on it, Chair. In fact, he was running with the lead pack, and they're back up there now, but I just talked to his crew. They said he made a rookie mistake. He got out of line. You know, what a difference a year makes. That team came down here 1 year ago. They rolled the car off the truck. The first thing they do, they go through inspection. First thing they're going to do is weigh the car, and the car was a little bit light. So the NASCAR inspector said, well, have you put fuel in the car yet? And they said, well, no, we haven't. Well, go put some fuel in it, and you should be fine. So they rolled over to the Unocal station, not knowing at the time that there's no charge for fuel. They get to the pump, and they look at the price. $4 and change for a gallon of gasoline. They all looked at each other, dug into their pockets, and came up with about 25 bucks. They turned to the Unocal attendant and said, we'll take $25 worth. And the guy said, that's okay. This one's on me. But they didn't know that your fuel was free.
Wow. Another word story. I went there and said, give me 6.5 gallons. 3 wide. My goodness. Sprague on the inside. Thompson in the middle. And Barfield up high. Heavens, and they nearly touch it yet.
That's Jeff McClure in the middle in car number 50
and
right there.
Like it's the 32 car. The car's the white, blue and white number 32.
Shane got right up there and gave Bob Hill a little bit of nudge. I think he's getting a lot of help from Mark Thompson. I think Thompson probably has one of the fastest race cars out there. Shane down to the inside now, and they go 2 wide coming out of the turn. These guys need to sort it out.
Side by side. McClure is the 50 car. Shane Dole's the rookie in the 97, the Sailor 1 colors, and Mark Thompson, the Midway Island Phoenix Air 66.
These guys are flat going at it.
Bobby Gerhardt coming up there behind him. Excuse me, that's the 85 car.
Bobby has been trying that inside grip numerous times. Couldn't get that to work, so he decided to move up on the outside.
That's 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
And that side-by-side racing is going to cost them. It'll cost them some distance on that racetrack if they aren't careful. 4 cars have already pulled away.
3 wide. And now someone has to be the same one in the bunch. And Jeff McClure backs off and falls back in line behind him. He's a rookie. He didn't know any better. Shane Doles. Now here goes Thompson down on the inside.
Well, he had a run.
I think he's showing his speed right here, guys. This is definitely a very, very fast race car. Mike Brandt, the crew chief on this car, been around Winston Cup racing for a long time. Now working with Mark in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. They got a fast car.
And it looks like the leaders are headed for the pits.
Whoa, one car down in the grass came down too quickly. That is Mark Thompson, and he is trying to get the car slowed down. Well, he will be the first one on pit road, but not by design.
Guys, I think he's going to get a penalty for that because he had to be going too fast when he came on. And when he passed all those 4 cars, they're going to have to back him up in the running.
So we'll see if the ARCA officials will indeed hold him. Let's go to Bill Weber in the Hillenburg pit.
Andy Hillenburg is in. They're going to change tires and fuel. Right behind him, the 16 of Tim Steele is in. Mark Thompson is on pit road along with several of the other leaders. They got 1 can of fuel in the 52 car working on the right side tires. Water bottle comes out. Now they swing around to the left side. Remember, they can use 3 jacks in this series. Steele with a 2-tire change is away. They're doing 4 on the 52, so Steele's back on the track. Now Mark Thompson away. They're working on the left side of Andy Hillenburg's car. The 44 is also on pit road. Mark Gibson returns to the track. Now Hillenburg pushed away.
Boy, pretty good pit work down there by some of the crews that don't have quite the experience. Now watch Mark Thompson once again, Ned, coming off of the banking.
Okay, we'll just sort of listen. He runs up and gives a little tap to the 97 car, goes all the way down on the grass, passes every one of them coming into the pit. And how about it, Kyle?
Mark Stahl, who had worked his way from 37th up to about 4th or 5th, is in the pits. They were waiting on the leaders to pit. They said, okay, we'll wait. We'll see what the leaders do. Then we'll come in. They're having some trouble. The car's off the jack. The cars fell off the jack on the right-hand side. Bill Weber?
Shane Dole's on pit road. They're also going to look at a 4-tire change, put fuel on him, and send him back out. So Shane Dole's on pit road also. 66 has had some contact with him, and the 97 sits there. Let's go back up top.
You can see some damage on the left rear of the Sailor 1 Pontiac where Mark Thompson's car did indeed contact him as they were trying to slow down to come down pit road. Shane did a heck of a job to keep him spinning that car when he got hit from directly behind. Another replay again of what happened a moment ago as these cars slowed down to come on to pit road.
Now, Jack Sprague is down on the inside in the Quaker State Chevrolet. He lets Mark Thompson go by, and Barfield's saying, hey, where are you going over there? And Andy Hillenburg's just getting himself set up for the pit stop, and here goes somebody by him.
32 car still has a problem. How about it, Kyle?
Dude, just like we talked at the beginning of the show, not only can a rookie mistake affect you on the racetrack, it can kill you in the pits, and it has killed Mark Stahl. Bill Weber?
Here's a driver error. Tim Steele, they told him 4 tires. Too close to the wall on pit road, so they couldn't change left sides. He took 2 right sides. That's why it was a 2-tire change, but it wasn't planned that way.
As you see Harris DeVay's crew, the Georgia Peanut Commission car. Ford Thunderbird that came within a half a lap of winning a year ago. He gets 4 tires. He is down and away. Leader pit stops being completed. Back with more from Talladega after this. Back at Talladega, Alabama, Tim Steele being shown as our leader in the Mountain Dew 500, about 10.5 seconds over the second place car of Mark Thompson. The HS Dye Simlake Ford Thunderbird, 1993 Series champion. Let's update the pit stop. Let's check in first with Kyle Petty.
Just like we talked at the beginning of the show, you can make mistakes on the racetrack that hurt. You can make mistakes in the pit. The 32 car made numerous mistakes. They come down pit road. The car falls off the jacks on the right side with no tires on it. They get it back up. They finally change the right side tires. They come around. When they let the right side down, they let it down on the air hose. So now they've got one gun on the left side. They come around to the left side. They're having trouble getting the gas in. Finally, it seems like an eternity for a driver. He leaves pit road too fast. They black flag him and bring him back in. So accumulation of 5 or 6 mistakes has put him from 5th in the running to 1 lap down. Then we've got Bobby Bowser who come in, who led the race for a while. He comes in, they try a totally different pit strategy. No tires, 1 can of gas. They're hoping for a caution to be able to come in and change tires, get that can of gas, and stay in the lead lap, guys.
We might mention that Perry Tripp did indeed lead a lap, and so did the car number 21 of Bobby Bowser. Let's check in down on Bill Evers in the pit road. Bill?
I can't follow all that, but I can't tell you that Harris Devane isn't going to like this place very much. He ran out of gas last year, and on this most recent pit stop, he got a stop-and-go penalty for exiting his pit too fast. It just made him actually stop at the end of pit road and then continue on his way. Rolling the dice for the 97 Cellular One Pontiac team of Shane Doles. 2 right-side tires. They said the left-side wear is not enough to warrant them changing the tires, so they're going to live on the edge a little bit.
We might also mention that Tim Steele only changed 2 right-side tires, a Cooperville, Michigan driver. Just to remind you again of that call that Bill Ever made a little bit ago. There's Harris Devane's car, Ned, and that stop-and-go cost him some time.
He's running in 19th position, 1 lap down, so it definitely cost him a bunch. And apparently that 2-tire change didn't hurt Tim Steele that much because he has a big lead on it.
Steele's out there leading right now, but you know it's very important every point that you can get in every race. Last year there was only 45 points separating Bobby Bowser and Andy Hillenberg for the championship. So Bowser stayed out there to pick up 10 bonus points by leading a lap. 10 points at the end of the season after 28 races may make the difference of who's the champion.
Watching ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar competition coming your way from the world's fastest stock car facility, Talladega, Alabama. Beautiful day here in Central Alabama. Great crowd on hand as Tim Steele is our leader. Now we're looking for Mark Thompson. Oh, that's on the car number 94. That's Ron Barfield.
And he's a lap down. Ron Barfield is in 12th position, right behind the leader, Tim Steele. Here is the Mark Thompson car. He's running in 2nd place. He had a good pit stop, and he gained a lot of positions coming into the pit.
Look behind him. What a cluster of cars. Bobby Gerhardt, a great run for Gerhardt. He takes the 3rd spot away from Kelly Denton, and that's Andy Hillenberg, the 52 car, and follows Gerhardt through.
Kelly Denton's actually a lap down, Jerry. He's running 14th right now. I think they had some problems in the pit area also.
There's Gerhardt now sniffing up on that Phoenix Air Ford. That's for 2nd position.
When as he takes that position away, Gerhardt moves on the inside. Here comes Hillenberg. He'll draft along with, had to go 3 abreast there for a moment. And Thompson goes high and lets him go by. Down on the inside, and there comes the number 59 car, Mark Gibson as well. When Thompson made that move coming off turn 4 when they're all coming into the pit there, I'm not sure. I think he could not help getting down on the grass the way that he did. We'll take another look at it as they were coming into the pits. This is going down the backstretch, and then we're going to see the leaders all decide to come into pits. Now, Mark Thompson had told some of our people that he was going to pit on lap 43, and this was lap 40 when the other cars decided that they would come in. So they slow down in front of him as they come off of turn 4, and he runs up and hits the car number 97 of Shane Doles, and I think that he had to drive it down on the inside to keep from spinning, and he just blew by all the other cars, and apparently he got it slowed down enough before he got to the line there on pit road that he was not exceeding the speed limit on pit road, so he got back out in good shape.
You saw Shane Doles waving his right hand. That's the signal they tell you in the ARCA and NASCAR drivers mean if you're going to slow down, wave your hands so the car behind you can see, but you can also see the glare on Mark Thompson's windshield. It was hard to see coming in through turn 3 and 4.
Mark Gibson there in car number 59 having a great run today. Atlanta Auto Auctions, the sponsorship on the hood of that car, and this is really a brand new team. They purchased these cars from Rick Mast, and Mark out there in the Ford, as you mentioned earlier, Jerry, he's running 3rd right now, and he's currently 4th in the season points, just 5 points behind Blaze Alexander, so this run could really help him a bunch.
Mark Gibson finished 2nd here back in 1990. That's the car 59. Isaac Leisco Ford, Donald and David Gilbert out of Cummings, Georgia, one of the largest automobile, the wholesale and retail leasing firms in the country. Coming on board for Mark Gibson, an ARCA veteran. 15 car on pit road. Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
Well, the 15 car, they'll try to come back in after the pit stop. This is a major problem. It's bad enough when you got the hood up. They got the deck up, too. They're having a fuel problem. They've lost all fuel pressure. They don't know if the line's collapsed, if a fuel pump's gone out. They've had the distributor out of it. They've had the carburetor off of it. They're going to go back here and work on it and try to get back out there and get him some experience.
Good run for Bobby Gerhardt, car number 85, being shown in second spot.
This pack of cars are about 9.5 seconds now behind Tim Steele. I think they've cut a little bit off the lead that he had. It was over 10 seconds before, but now that they've hooked up in a single car draft there, well, not single car, but in a single line, they might be running him down a little bit.
From 14 starting spots to second, 37-year-old Lebanon, Pennsylvania driver Bobby Gerhardt, having maybe his best run in a long time. He finished fourth here at 89, had a top 10 at Daytona, looking for a win here today. Tim Steele is our leader. We'll be back. Riding along, that's the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde in-car. That in-car is a reward for winning the pole. And Tim Steele was our pole sitter, is our leader. By the way, Benny Parsons not with us today. Benny under the weather with the flu. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow for our live coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup action in the Winston Select 500. A little dipsy-do as they head for halfway. Tim Steele doing a little bit of a conga line down the backstretch. Man, that's to disrupt some of the airflow and the drafting techniques.
Evidently, he's trying to lose Ron Barfield, who is a lap down, but Ron has one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, and see, he has nobody else to draft with. Normally, a car running close behind you can help you, but it needs to run pretty close to help. But I'm sure that Tim's crew has told him, hey, that group of cars behind you is catching you, and they are at the rate of about a third to a half a second a lap.
Noel Ford and Hank Wetzel signal halfway, 59 laps down.
Halfway, Jerry pays $1,000 from Auto Value Parts Stores. You see that on the top of the windshield, that sticker, the yellow one across there. The $1,000 is really nice to pick that up at each race, but at the end of the season, there's a $10,000 bonus for the driver who wins the most of those. And Tim Steele could really rack up some big money if he's able to do that throughout the season.
Boy, couldn't he ever. 57 laps to go. Second pack coming there. That's the car 85 of Gerhardt, Hillenburg. How about Gibson? Mark Gibson, the 59 car. Are they still catching the leader?
Well, they're still catching you, Gary, but there's a car, the 06 car, Brad Smith, is going very slow down the backstretch. Don't know if he'll be able to coast all the way around. It doesn't look like he has power, so don't know if he can coast all the way back around or not, or will there be a caution?
Boy, this pack could use a caution if the yellow were to come out. We've had two thus far. We are still green. 4 cars, nose to tail, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Now, they were running about 10 seconds, over 10 seconds behind Tim Steele not too long ago. Right now, they're 8.6 seconds behind, so they picked up a couple of seconds on him.
2 Chevrolets and then 2 Fords right behind them. Midway Island, Phoenix Air, Ford, that car in 5th position. There's the leader. The red car is the leader. Behind him, Ron Barfield. That car's 1 lap down. Now, here's second, third, fourth, and fifth. And what's the differential, Ned, for Gerhardt back up front?
About 8.5 seconds. They're doing a good job. They're doing what they need to do. Running in a single line, running close together. That's the most effective way of drafting.
Bobby Gerhardt's best ever ARCA finish, a second at Flat Rock. We told you he had a 4th here at Talladega back in '89. It's a family affair. Bill Gerhardt, his older brother, is the crew chief, and Thompson back there wagging a little bit in the back. He's losing a little ground.
Yeah, he's not helping that crew any by dropping back like he probably can't help it, but he isn't careful. He will lose the draft crew.
Looks like a battle of the former Rookie of the Years up there. We've got Bobby Gerhardt, who won the award in '88. Mark Gibson won it in '86. And Andy Hillenburg would have won last year because he had such a great season, but he won the championship.
Third caution of the day being waved by Doyle Ford, Hank Wetzel. They come across, and this will be a break for that second pack as they take the caution flag. We are told it's debris on the racetrack. And then what a break for the second, third, fourth, and fifth place cars, and not a break for this guy.
Now, I'm sure Tim didn't want to see that. However, when he here's a race back to the line. A couple other cars there, but Tim only took on 2 tires during his green flag pit stop, so now he'll have an opportunity to come in during caution flag laps and take on all 4 tires. So, yeah, it's bad in one sense, but maybe good in another.
Well, he had about an 8-second advantage over the rest of the field right there, but that'll certainly be shrunk up as we get ready to go back to green.
Just to remind you folks, last time we saw Tim Steele in ARCA competition in Atlanta, he was driving with the kidney stone, one of the most unusual victory lanes you've ever seen. He has to be helped out of the car, doubling over, uncomfortable, in pain from the kidney stone. And he told me yesterday, he said, I ended up passing 6 kidney stones. The last one I passed just 3 weeks ago.
What a roll this guy's been on, you know. The last 3 races of 1995, he won at Winchester and Salem and Atlanta. Then we get up this season. He almost won Daytona, finishes second there, goes to Atlanta and wins, and he really had a good run last week at Salem.
Under caution here at Talladega, lap 64. We are past the halfway, and the former series champion, our pole sitter, is the leader. Back in a moment. Stay with us. Beautiful day, great crowd on hand at Talladega Superspeedway, the ARCA Mountain Dew 500-kilometer event. We are 64 laps into 117, which will comprise 500 kilometers. There is Tim Steele, as you heard Ned Jarrett say a moment ago. He only took on 2 tires on his first and only pit stop thus far. That's coming out on lap 42, so we'll see if possibly he and somebody else will come down pit road.
I don't think there'll be any doubt about it, Jared. They've run about 25 laps now since they made those pit stops, and yes, here they come. There are 11 cars on the lead lap.
Let's go down to the pits of Bill Weber.
And the leaders are on pit road. Gerhardt, Steele, and Hillenberg all dive into their pits now. Tim Steele wanted this caution to come out. His crew chief had just told me we really need it. They were dramatically slower with the 94 car running behind them. They're going to change 4 tires this time. He's pulled out far enough away from the wall on the 16. They swing around to it. Right side tires and a chassis adjustment on the 52. Mark Thompson getting right side tires. The 85 also still on pit road. Changing the left side tires on Steele's car to make a chassis adjustment. 85 is out. Now they drop the 16. He stalls it. They'll have to push it. He refires. Wheel loose. A front left on the 52 waiting to tighten it. They drop the jack. The 05 is out first, and now the 52 is away. We told you we'd see some action down here. The 50 car was out first. McClure.
So Jeff McClure exits pit road first, and some wild action down there. I think Bill and Kyle talked about at the beginning of the show. With a lot of pressure on these crews, as Jeff McClure had a great pit stop. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, Jeff McClure hit his pit stall on the roll. He's only got 2nd and 4th gear. They've lost 1st and 3rd, and they don't understand it, whether the linkages fell off or what. They only put gas in. That's all they did. Gas and go. And like I said, he never stopped. He rolled the whole time, and he's still rolling out front right now.
And smoke out of Andy Thurman's car number 11. That's a car that's actually owned by Andy Hillenberg. And Andy Thurman, who works with Andy Hillenberg in the fast-track driving school, making his 2nd ARCA start. And apparently he will shut it down and coast back to pit road as it looks to be an engine problem.
Yeah, that's coming out the exhaust.
3rd caution flag today at Talladega, Alabama. Debris on the racetrack. Pit stops have taken place. We'll come back with more green flag action in just a moment.
Welcome back to the Mountain Dew 500K for the ARCA Series here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Ron Barfield's car being pushed back up pit road. He only had 4th gear, pitted. The crew pushed it all the way down there, could not get it refired. And the man that finished 5th at Daytona and then 4th at Atlanta is going behind the wall early here at Talladega.
Well, what a tough break for Ron Barfield. He was showing 1 lap down in 13th spot, and that pit stop and the inability to get the car refired has now cost him what would have been a very good finish.
He had a very good race car. When he made the green flag pit stop, as a result of only having 4th gear, he got the lap down, but ran right with Tim Steele, and just came in for this pit stop, couldn't get it fired.
Some of the in-car cameras were riding along with you.
Buddy, keep the tire ready. Keep it cleared up. You need to keep the tire straight, okay? 10-4. Tell me when they throw the flag. Pick it up a little bit. Pick it up. Don't worry about that. Pick it up. Green flag. Let's go, Gary. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, we're talking to leader Jeff McClure.
Tim Steele made a nice move there, guys, as he went around by Bobby Gerhardt. He got a really good start, and he passed to the right. That's the right thing to do, so Steele advances a position. Now he moves up on Jeff McClure.
And he's going to try that in the middle move once again. That guy has got nerves of steel.
That's C.W. Smith down on the inside as a former highway patrolman. He can pass, you know, it's on the racetrack, and it doesn't count here. There is Tim Steele, as you said, they had nerves of steel from that young man from Michigan, HS Dye Ford.
CW's running at a bit of an advantage here, guys, because he's got the older style Lumina body there on car number 28. He's sponsored by C&E Containers. Really no match for these Chevrolet Monte Carlos and these really slick racing Fords.
Back up to full speed. They are 2 and 3 wide to the trial. 18-degree bankings at Talladega. And Ron Barfield's car is pushed behind the wall, and Bill Weber's caught up with him.
Every fairy tale has to have a villain. Yours is Talladega. You've had a great year in cars and trucks, but your transmission let you down today.
You know, first of all, I got to thank Bill Elliott's crew for helping me out there. You know, with thank Bill Elliott and Charles Hardy for putting me in these cars, and I got to thank my sponsor, New Holland Farm and Industrial Equipment. You know, they come on board here with us this year, and you know, there's some excellent people to work with, and you know, we just lost the transmission today, but you know, we lost first, second, and third early, and all we had was fourth, and we finally lost it, but you know, hey, we'll gather it all back up and we'll go racing next week.
You got back up there with only fourth gear.
Yeah, you know, it took me a long time to get going, but I had a real good car. You know, I got to thank the guys at the shop for preparing an excellent race car under me today, and I think this right here could have been the race winner today, but you know, some days is your days and some days is not, and today wasn't my day. We'll get them next week.
Write the name down, Ron Barfield.
Wow, 3 or 4 abreast there a moment ago. These guys are going at it.
Kevin Ray on the inside there. He's in the middle, I should say. Perry 666 car. And watch him all the way down there, snaking back and forth down that 4,000-foot backstretch.
Trying to break the draft or either pick up the draft.
They used to call that the conga line. Back and forth, they would try to follow. If you can get that someone to punch a hole in the wind and you follow that opening, your car's going to be even faster. Watch him here in the trial area.
Rob Smith really got the disadvantage there, guys. He's currently running 10th, and he got caught behind C.W. Smith, had to back out of it. It was a good move for him to back out, but there's a lot of race left.
Well, McClure got out of the draft then, and he will lose a couple of spots. He's caught in the middle. Whoa!
And he gets loose. 32 is loose, spinning, coming back up on the track. Now going back away.
Whoa, there comes Boucher. He tries to miss him. He does.
Blaze Alexander also took a little squirrely ride there, and only one car spins. That was Mark Stahl.
What a great job of driving behind that Mark Stahl car. They come back to the caution flag. Tim Steele in the car number 16. Caution waving for the 4th time today. Now they are in turn 4.
Bob Hill trying to get a lap back. Don't know if he's going to be able to do it. I don't think he is going to be able to. He's the only one up there that has much of a chance at it.
Hill is the red car right behind the 16 car, the leader. He will not get his lap back. Lap 73, 4th caution, and a very frightening moment here at Talladega as they were mixing it up there, entering turn 1. And there's the car number 32, flat right rear tire. Let's look again and show what happened to Mark Stahl.
Well, there, Mark is right in the middle, and he gets together with, here's the green car on the outside.
Well, that's the 44 of Jack Sprague.
Yeah.
He and the number 50, Jeff McClure, actually made the contact, and Mark just needed to get out of the way.
Stahl jumped on the brakes to try to slow down, and that the momentum just couldn't get, his car got sideways.
Now, let's watch Jack Bowser come in here. He was sideways, looked like almost sideways, but he got by. I said Jack Bowser, that's Bobby Bowser. I've done that a number of times. I can't get those guys
A
separated.
little different angle here. Watch the right side of your screen. The green car and the black car. McClure and Sprague. Hey, Sprague did a nice job. And behind him, Stahl had to jump on the brakes to keep from running into the back of McClure. These cars go by. As you said, Dan, watch Bobby Bowser coming from the right side of your screen.
He does the right thing. He points it towards where the car is when he has to make that decision. And at least the car had gotten out of his way when he got there, like it's supposed to.
This is Mark Thompson's car, number 66. We'll take a look at what he saw happening in front of him. Boy, what a scary shot.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen, but he makes the right move, goes to the high side of the racetrack, and everything fine.
So Leaders on pit road, 52 is in. Andy Hillenberg is some of the leaders have come down. There's Mark Gibson. And Bill was in the Andy Hillenberg pit. Bill?
And the 52 car pulls in. They're just going to top it off. This will be the fuel that will get them to the end. So it's fuel only for the 52. He's on his way. The 66 right in front of him, down to Kyle Petty.
The 50 cars in, they topping off with fuel. They must have got into somebody because they pulled the right front fender off the tire and they pulled the right rear fender off the tire. They're going to come back in and probably work on it again, and before the caution's over, they plan on topping off one more time.
He did indeed get into the Jack Sprague car.
It's about the fourth time they've been contact out there between those two cars.
That's Mike Hillman, who's the new crew chief for Jeff McClure, former crew chief for Tommy Ellis when he won the Busch Series Championship. Under caution at Talladega. We'll be back after this. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Just like in the Winston Cup Series, all these ARCA teams want their race cars to be aerodynamically perfect. They want these cars to slide through the air. Well, in order to do that, they want to make sure that this piece of the hood panel doesn't vibrate, because that would disturb the air as it goes over the car. Well, to make sure this piece remains still, several teams put in support panels of various sizes and shapes, and they took these panels and wedged them in here. And that, once put in, would keep this panel from vibrating. But what race officials found out was, once this support panel was in place, it was also helping funnel air through the cowl. And they didn't like that, since none of the teams really had the same piece, the same material, the same size. So what they did is they went through the garage and they outlawed all these pieces. No support beams for this part of the hood panel. The only piece you can have is this legalized 1/4-inch tubing. That must support your hood panel and will not disturb the air going through the cowl.
That's very interesting. Every little trick helps at the Talladega or Daytona, the trigger plate tracks.
The bottom line, Jerry, is we didn't want to have anybody have an advantage over another guy, so we said that's the way it's going to be, and that's exactly the way it was. Here we go, back to green flag.
Restart lap 77, 3 laps under caution for the 4th time today. Shane Knowles, the rookie driver, running in 3rd spot. Ray George, a driver, the Cellular One Pontiac.
Now remember, Tim Steele did not stop, did not make a pit stop here. Most of the others came in, topped off their fuel. And the car number 44 of Jack Sprague did not stop either. He is currently being shown in the 2nd position.
The 33 and 46 cars there on your screen, they are a lap down in 12th and 13th position. That is Harris Devane, and you're riding along with the roof cam on the car number 46. And let's find out why Tim Steele opted not to pit. Bill Weber is down in their pit.
And as the field goes by, Tom Sokolowski talks to his driver. You opted not to pit that time. Why?
Can't hear you.
You opted not to pit that time. Why did you stay out?
Well, we wanted to lead the laps. The car runs a lot better by itself out front. Figured that with the yellows and the cautions, and we'll probably have some more, that we probably can go all the way with the fuel.
You're gambling.
What's that? Gambling?
You're gambling.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll be all right, though.
Okay.
Under caution.
Well, they talked about it long and hard down here. They talk about if we come in, do we take 2? If we come in, should we put on 4? What they finally decided was to stay out and then grab some sticker tires. They think if they come back in, they can put on some sticker tires and go with fuel, a splash, and get to the end. So we'll have to wait and see. They're really counting on caution laps to help them out here.
Boy, that would mean they'd have to go 53 laps, Ned, if they were to make it without a splash.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't even think about that. I thought that they didn't think they could go the 45 laps, the 44 that would be remaining. That's why they didn't come in. Well, that's interesting.
That's almost 140 miles. That is a long way. I got to believe the ARCA officials will be climbing all over that fuel cell. This thing's over if he makes it, but they'll get him by. Shane Knowles, car number 97, being challenged by Bobby Gerhardt. That is for position for 5th and 6th place.
As we have a beautiful day for racing here at Talladega, the 34th time there's been an ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series race here, but probably one of the first times that we've been here without Bob Loga, the ARCA president, and we send a lot of well wishes out to him, a lot of love coming out of the garage area today. Bob involved in a very serious car accident, and Jerry, I think you can update us a little on his condition.
Well, Bob was leaving the racetrack last night, involved along with Joe Wells, the competition director, and Paul Logan, his brother, is an inspector with ARCA, and Bob was flown to University of Alabama Medical Center in Birmingham, underwent surgery last night, was in surgical ICU. We are told his condition has been upgraded to from critical to serious. Had his spleen removed last night. That was a report this morning. It was released from Speedway, so hopefully Bob is well on his way to recovery. Joe Wells and Paul Logan were both treated and released at area hospital. So certainly our best wishes, and it's for a speedy recovery to ARCA's president, Bob Logan.
It was really an incredible crash, a lot of damage. The car is actually junked, and we're all praying for Bob, hoping for the best.
Here's Andy Hillenberg, who was down on the inside and didn't have any help, and now finally another Chevrolet driver is down there, Jack Sprague, but maybe too little too late.
Well, it might be. He had a good run going, but once he got there and got into that wall of air, the others just went by on the outside, so yeah, it might be too little too late.
3 Fords on the outside, 2 Chevrolets on the inside. Talk about teamwork.
Car 33 of Harris Devane is a lap down. The 16 and 66 are on the lead lap. They are the front 2 cars.
There's still 10 cars on the lead lap.
Mark Gibson's car number 59 running awfully well. He's being shown in 6th spot. And here's the 44 car, the Quaker State colors for Jack Sprague. Rick Hendrick Motorsport Team, his first ever start in ARCA competition. Sprague, 31 years of age, from Spring Lake, Michigan, now lives in Concord, North Carolina. Here's Bob Hills. That's the Advanced Auto Contractors Hotline. Chevy, right in front of him is the Quaker State Chevy, is Jack Sprague.
Guys, we're looking at Jack Sprague's car there, number 44, the Quaker State car. You mentioned, Jerry, it's owned by Rick Hendrick, but Dennis Conner, the crew chief, told me earlier, he said, don't confuse this as an R&D car like Bill Elliott has with Ron Barfield. Many of the Winston Cup teams do R&D over here. This is just to get Jack Sprague some super speedway experience, and then he'll head back to the Truck Series next weekend.
Well, they had Gary Dehart and Randy Dorton in the garage on Thursday, so it looked like a lot of R&D was going on for me, but so I'm not going to believe that one.
You think I was hornswoggled?
I think you were hornswoggled. On his own race recap, our leader is Tim Steele, has led 41 of 80 laps. Lead changes 13. There have been 4 cautions for 15 laps. The average speed 146.9, almost 147 miles an hour. Who have been our leaders? Well, Tim Steele has led 41 laps. Andy Hillenberg, Jeff McClear, Perry Tripp, and Harris Devane. Also having led was former 2-time series champion Bobby Boucher. Out of race thus far, the cars that have gone in the garage area, including Glenn Brewer, former Rookie of the Year. Car number 24, tough break for Neil, Andy Thurman, Nell McCowan, the car number 2, Ron Barfield Jr. That great run at Daytona and Atlanta. And also out of the race, joining that crowd, is Doug Reed. After a tremendous qualifying effort, qualified 4th, the Houston, Alabama native in the Long Lewis Ford has gone to the garage area. All 4 of our in-car cameras started in the top 10, and they're all running in this pack. Now, one's already a lap down, with that being Harris Devane in the Georgia Peanut Commission car.
This Mark Thompson really loves Talladega, Jerry. He's had some great finishes here. He finished 5th back in '93, and I think in '91 he was 4th here, but his best finish was 3rd in 1994. So he's had 3 top 5 finishes, and right now he's running in 3rd. So a great race car underneath Mark Thompson.
Back up front, Andy Hillenberg looks to the outside. Chevy up top, Ford on the bottom. Hillenberg trying to get momentum. The AC Delco car owned by Winston Cup competitor Ken Schrader.
We've talked a little bit about the points in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series, guys. There's really 2 sets of points throughout the season. There's the 28 race long season championship points, and there's also super speedway points. For all the super speedways throughout the season, we keep a separate set of points there. And Kenny Schrader says, I'm going to go out, I'm going to win that one, and I'm going to win the car owner championship. And he's on a pretty good roll with that. Hillenberg finished 4th at Daytona, and then they lost an oil line at Atlanta. But Toby Butler ran at Salem last weekend, and he won in Kenny Schrader's number 52. And they had sponsorship from Pedigree that weekend. So Toby Butler making his way into the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series.
Ken Steele was our leader. You heard Bill Weber talk to his crew chief, Tom Sokolowski, just a moment ago. He said they were going to try to make it on fuel, so, Ed, you got to wonder he's losing a lot of ground now inside of the car number 97. I think he's trying to grab to save a little fuel.
Well, it could be, but he needs to get up behind somebody. He's running down on the inside, and there's a bumper about to come off.
Mark Gibson ran into Shane Gould. Those guys are kind of teammates, and they got a little contact, and it was right beside Tim Steele.
Well, that Shane Gould is also the car that Mark Thompson hit earlier, had shuffled it right in the back, probably loosened most of that rear bumper, and now this Gibson's going to finish it off.
Yeah, he probably did loosen it here, because that was a pretty good lick when they started to come into the pit.
Good move for Steele here as he got back in line. He needs to get back in there and see what's going to happen up front.
That's
He's
Mark
going to save any fuel. He needs to be in line.
Mark Gibson right in front of him, the Isaac Leesco Ford Thunderbird running in fifth spot. Andy Hillenberg, our leader, after 85 of 117 laps. We'll be right back. Trouble in Talladega, Alabama. One car comes into contact. That is Mark Gibson. Had nowhere to go. He and Perry Chip come together. Gibson's car slides backward, debris ripped from beneath that Ford Thunderbird. And what a tough break. Gibson was running in fifth spot. Now he's going to race back to the line. That is for the lead. The 52 is Hillenberg. The 16 is Steele. And the 66 is Thompson. Two Fords and a Chevrolet.
This might be the break that Tim Steele needed. If he didn't have enough fuel, maybe he will have enough fuel, but anyway, they'll race back to the line here. We'll see if he'll make a pit stop after this. But
Laurel Ford waves the yellow flag for the fifth time, and man, that was close. I'd say maybe Steele had it by a couple of feet, and boy, what a tough break. After a great run by Mark Gibson, he was being shown in fifth spot, the Isaac Leesco Ford. And here is Bobby Gerhardt. He was also a victim of that deal in the Truck World Chevy Monte Carlo.
Gerhardt was running seventh, and he had a real good pit stop, got him back up there to run with the leaders, and a lot of damage to the right front of that Chevrolet.
Well, it was just close racing. A lot of jockeying around. A couple of cars get together there.
It's Perry Tripp in the sixth car.
And then he really gets up into the car of Mark Gibson, gets Gibson loose. He hits the outside retaining wall, then slides back down across the racetrack, hits the inside retaining wall very slightly.
And now here from the in-car camera. And here's a different angle from above the ring.
I don't think there was contact there, Ned.
I thought there
hate
was.
to say this, but I think he just took the air off his spoiler. Haven't heard that much of it.
And watch Gerhardt come by. He gets nipped by the front end of Gibson's Ford, and so that's the damage on Gerhardt's Chevy Monte Carlo. Who's going to stay out here?
Well, Tim Steele staying out there.
44 car of Jack Sprague went to pit road.
Well, fifth caution flag today. Got to wonder what he's thinking. He's looking over to pit road and saying, hey, guys, are you sure about this? We'll find out when we come back as Tim Steele continues to be our leader. Back at Talladega, Alabama, 25 laps remains. We get set for a restart here in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Supercar Mountain Dew 500. Stop number 4 of 28, $2.5 million tour. And Tim Steele being shown as our leader. Andy Hillenberg in second. In third place is Mark Thompson in fourth. They are now showing the 46 car. We'll update why that is in just a moment. Bob Hill in fourth position.
He had been being shown as a lap down, but now is shown as the on the lead lap. Bill Weber has the story.
Well, they didn't pit with the leaders, Ned, and it was just a scoring snafu. They've been on the lead lap all day, but scoring missed one and knocked them off the lead lap. I said, how'd you get it back? They said, we argued, and they are. They're fourth right now, and what a weekend it's been. They blew a motor in practice yesterday afternoon, last time they went out. The motor in that car is the motor Andy Hillenberg qualified with, and the one Jeff Purvis won at Daytona with. Also, Shane Doles is being allowed to stay on the track. His car's handling okay. They think he can get to the end on fuel. He's not very happy, but the guy that hit him is his longtime buddy, the guy that got him here, Gibson.
Scramble up front, 24 to go. That time by Tim Steele.
Guys, one of the cars we haven't mentioned all day today is car number 2. That's Kevin Ray from just outside the racetrack here, East Taboga, Alabama. Zach's Mesquite Grill is a sponsorship on that car, and Kevin has moved all the way up to 7th right now. And last year here at Talladega in '95, he finished 4th.
Started 16th today. It's only his second ARCA start in 1996. He finished 15th at Daytona. And the season opener, there's the car number 2 of Kevin Ray, son of John Ray, back up front. The 33 car was a lap down. Now he has gotten back on the tail end of the lead lap, but the battle for the lead is right behind him. Chevrolet on the bottom. That is Hillenberg on top of Steele. They are side by side. And Mark Thompson, you have it. The roof cam, he's got the best seat now. Yeah, try the middle, Mark. That won't work. We know that.
He stays right up there behind Tim Steele, gives Tim a little bit of a push going into turn 1.
Hey, there's smoke coming out of car number 16. I just saw a puff on that in-car camera. I think Tim Steele may have a problem.
He drafts right back up into the lead. Ooh, very close between Harris Devane and Mark Thompson. They almost got together. The bumpers almost cut.
Here's Hillenberg down on the inside. The 46 is Bob Hill. 97, Shane Knowles. 44 in front of that threesome. That is Jack Sprague. All those cars, with the exception of the 33, are being shown on the lead lap.
Hillenberg went from a momentary lead to down there on the inside drafting. He's going to be back in about 6th or 7th place here.
I think Mark Thompson was the culprit of that, Ned. Hillenberg had been on the inside, and Mark was right there with him, and he decided to go to the outside and run with Tim Steele. I think he made the right choice.
How about the job Shane Knowles is doing? His first time ever at Talladega to actually compete. He came here before in go-karts and Formula 440s. As he's getting past now, or they're trying to go by. That's a car number 97, the Cellular One Pontiac of Shane Knowles, a rookie we're talking about, who qualified 6th out of Gray, Georgia. There's Bob Hill. We were riding on his roof cam a moment ago, the car number 46. The Advance Auto Contractors Hotline Chevrolet. Larry Clement owns that car.
Evidently, I must have had a smoke delusion on number 16 there, Jerry, because so far he's running right up front. Doesn't look like there's any problem.
Tim Steele being shown as our leader as laps are winding down at the world's fastest stock car facility, Talladega Superspeedway. It'll be less than 20 to go when we come back, and we'll see if Tim can hang on. Back at Talladega, final laps of the Mountain Dew 500-kilometer event. 117 laps, 312 miles.
Well, I think Mark Thompson's sitting in a great position there. He hooked up in a draft there with Tim Steele and those other cars running side by side. Now Hillenberg, thought he was going to clear the 33 car, but they're losing ground to the front twosome. And if Tim Steele has enough gas, I think that's going to surprise a lot of us. And Mark Thompson just might be getting himself in position to have a good shot at winning this race.
Mark's never won on a super speedway. Of course, Tim has done it 5 times before, so he knows how to do it. And if he's able to win today, he'll pick up the AC Rapid Fire bonus, which is very like the Unical bonus in Winston Cup. The money for the pole winner rolls over if he's able to win, and no one's done that in quite a while. It's $5,000 today will go to Tim Steele if he wins this race from the pole.
Look how quick Andy Hillenberg has come back up there. He had dropped back to 5th position, got on the inside of those cars, literally passed them without much drafting help from anybody else, down on the inside, and now he's trying to take over 2nd position from Mark Thompson. That's a surprise to me that he's been able to come back there that quickly. It indicates how strong his car is.
Well, indeed, he has Jim Michael out of Wakarusa, Indiana, as the engine builder on the 52 car. The first 2 cars have the same engine builder, Ernie Elliott, and we know he can put a power plant that'll run in Talladega. How about the 44, Jack Sprague? Whoa, nearly comes together. He is side by side with Harris Devane, who is showing a lap down.
I'm sure the fans wonder, well, why would he want to just drive up in there into him? Sometimes you can't help it. The air does things to these race cars at certain places on the racetrack. When you come off the turn, it'll just sort of suck you right up there into it. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. It's not that he's turning the steering wheel into him to hit him.
The wind is pretty nice today, Ned. On Thursday afternoon when we were qualifying here, it was very, very windy, and the guys were saying the air was really throwing them around.
Boy, Bob Hill is almost pushing Jack Sprague around the racetrack. Hill is in the 46 car. He's in the middle. These cars here are 4th, 5th, and 6th. 44 is the 4th place car. 46 is the 5th place car. And the 97 car, it's the Pontiac right behind this one. He is in 6th spot.
Jack Sprague sure has a lot of donuts on the side of that race car. It's about black on both sides, up and down. So he's made quite a bit of contact this afternoon.
Well, he finally is able to clear Harris Devane and see how far the leaders have pulled away from him. The first 3 cars, while they were running side by side back there, these 3 have pulled away.
Oh, wild maneuver just a moment ago. Bob Hill collects it back in. He was all the way from top to the bottom of the racetrack.
See if we can get that on a replay here. Bob Hill really jockeying with the wheel.
Whoa!
That was David Frog Hall. He made contact there with car number 12.
And the caution is out.
Perry Tripp has made contact with the wall, apparently in car number 6 at WW Transport Chevrolet. He's got a Monte Carlo, but I don't think he's going to make any more laps today.
Now that right front tire is jammed up under.
Well, caution for the 6th time a day at Talladega. Contact by Perry Tripp, whose car limps on the inside. There come the leaders down. Tim Steele will lead it down as they scramble back in the pack. Still 10 cars on the lead lap, including Bobby Gerhart, who's involved in the previous caution. 6 cautions today, lap 103. And we are told from the pits that Tim Steele will not pit. We'll see if he can make it these final laps at Talladega. Our speed road coverage of the Mountain Dew 500K is being brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. By Firestone, America's tire since 1900. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Under caution for the 6th time a day. Under caution for the 6th time a day here at Talladega. Our leader continues to be Tim Steele as he leads Mark Thompson, Andy Hillenberg, Jack Sprague, and Bob Hill in the top 5, all top 10 in the lead lap. We'll be back. Getting set for a restart at Talladega. Our leader, Tim Steele, did not pit. Let's check in his pits with Bill Weber.
Well, these caution laps are really helping if Tim Steele can stretch his fuel mileage. Grady Humphreys is the reason why. He's been coaching him on every lap. But if this gentleman, Carl Goldnast, is not at the next race, well, you'll know why. He figures the fuel mileage. To Kyle Petty.
I'm standing here with Perry Tripp. You took one of those Talladega rides and got into the wall. I know it wasn't an easy hit because you can't hit the wall. What happened there?
Well, Kyle, we had the WW Transport car running really good today, and we got a lap down there early. We got mixed up in a deal with ARCA. We had to pull in and take something off the car that they said was dragging, and that got us a lap down. But we had a really good car today, and I was just riding around there, you know, following the guys. You know, we knew we were a lap down, doing the best I could. All of a sudden, the right rear tire blew, and there I was on the Talladega slide.
Just hanging on, that's all you can do. But he got a lot of experience today. Not all the kind he wanted, but he got experience.
Well, Kyle, restart lap 106. That caution out for the 6th time. 3 laps of caution. We have 11 to go. And the 46 car on pit road, that's Bob Hill, who was being shown in the top 5. And apparently he had to come in and top off with some fuel. The Advanced Auto Parts Chevy now coming back up to full speed. He will not lose a lap. Shoving there on the backstretch between McClure and Shane Dole.
Still going on.
And Jack Sprague also getting into a little shoving match there going down the back straightaway. So a lot of cars bumping and pushing. With just inside 15 laps to go here, it's time to lay it all out on the table.
Our leader, miles an hour. Boy, that's a little scary. Our leader is the car number 16. That is Tim Steele. He pitted on lap 64, and by our calculations, if he makes it to the green flag, he will have run 140.9 miles on 1 tank, 22 gallons of fuel.
Let me ask you this, Ned. Is it an advantage or a disadvantage for Steele to be the leader right now?
That is a very good question. The theory has always been that if you run behind another car, that you're saving fuel. Now, with the restrictor plates in Winston Cup racing, I've talked to several drivers that say that they get better gas mileage running out front. because they're not often on the gas as much. And every time you lift off that accelerator and mash back down on it, you squirt some extra gas in there. So it takes a little bit. Where you're out front, you're just sitting there with the constant flow.
And that's the expert opinion of a two-time NASCAR champion, Ned Jarrett. Here's truly Jerry Punch. We got Ray Dunlap with us in the booth, the ARCA media coordinator. I'm Benny Parsons, under the weather today, with a little bit of a flu. We'll be back tomorrow for Winston Cup action. Al Petty and Bill Weber in the pits. Trying to hang on, 10 to go for Tim Steele. Trying to pick up his second win of 1996. He won at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not a very joyous victory lane in Atlanta when he climbed out of the car with a kidney stone. Today, he should be able to celebrate in style.
Here goes Andy Hillenberg moving back up through the pack, back up into third. He's been back and forth all day long. Has a great race car. That AC Delco number 52.
Well, we kind of have two Quaker State cars back there a little ways. Jack Sprague is running, the 44 car is fourth, and right behind him is Kelly Denton. That used to be a Quaker State car. They bought that from Brett Bodine at the auction.
Yeah, the Kenny Bernstein people sold that car to Kelly Denton. Now, the car number 2 is Kevin Ray, and he is being shown in 7th position. Good run for the young man east of Boga, Alabama. Second-generation driver, John Ray, former Winston Cup competitor. His dad, the Zach's Mesquite Grill Chevrolet.
In 8th place right now is car number 19. That's Rob Smith of Florida Dream Sport. And last year in this race, when Harris Devane ran out of gas, Mike Wallace went to victory lane, and his crew chief was Barry Owen. And Barry is here this weekend trying to help Rob with his program. They've got a pretty strong car underneath him today, too.
Up front, 9 laps to go. And as you said, Ned, Mark Thompson, the 66 car, is looking awfully good. But here comes Hillenberg again.
Yeah, Hillenberg has a fast race car. As we said a moment ago, he's been back and forth, but he's always able to get back to the lead. And he has been shuffled back a couple of times in the draft, but he's always been able to get back there. Now, Thompson looks low. Is Hillenberg going with him? Here he comes down on the inside. He's got a good run. Now, who's Hillenberg going with? He's staying high right at the moment. He should make a move, and Thompson and Steele get together just momentarily. But Hillenberg, I guess, saw an opportunity to move around the 66 car, so he chose to follow Tim Steele. But now they're going to be running side by side. Tim Steele is going to pull away if they aren't careful.
Boy, what a break from Tim Steele. This guy's running side by side. Steele has now led 86 of 110 laps as we have 8 to go.
Jack Sprague moved up right behind Andy Hillenberg there in the AC Delco Chevrolet. That helped them go flying right by Mark Thompson, so 2 cars are better than 1 in this track.
Got to give Dennis Conner and the Jack Sprague crew a call. The young man getting some speedway experience. He ride along with the Phoenix Air Midway Island Ford of Mark Thompson in the 66 car. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, if Andy Hillenberg's going to catch him, it's going to be pretty soon, and his crew chief, Jim Cahoon, thinks he can. And if that 44 car stays there, you got to look at that connection. Schrader's up here coaching, I guess would be the politically correct term you would use with Andy Hillenberg. They might be looking for some help from the 44 from Jack Sprague to rope him in.
Once again, that 44 car is a Rick Hendrick car, sponsored by Quaker State. Jack Sprague drives Hendrick's NASCAR Craftsman truck. Most recent winner of the NASCAR Truck Series out of Phoenix, so that's the connection between Sprague, Hendrick, and of course Ken Schrader, who owns the second place car of Andy Hillenberg.
Guys, I'll give you a real quick story of the kind of driver Tim Steele is. He came to the Salem Speedway last week with his short track car and backed it into the wall in practice, and they pulled out their Daytona car for him to use as a backup, and he was running as the leader for a long time, ended up with a 6th place finish using a super speedway car on a half-mile high-bank racetrack.
Pretty good. He's trying to break the draft there on the other competitor. Here comes Mark Thompson back down on the inside. He, too, has a fast race car, but is he going to be able to clear Jack Sprague? I don't think he will. And he's going to be left down. Now he gets a little help down on the inside.
That's Harris Devane that ducked in right behind him. Of course, Devane running in 11th, 1 lap down, so chances are he won't be a factor in this year's race like he was last year.
He could be a factor in this draft here, maybe, but not as far as winning.
Well, let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, Tim Steele's crew is optimistic, but they're also realistic. The gas can sits on the wall, and we all know what happened here 1 year ago at this race. Final lap, the leader ran out of gas.
Well, as Yogi would say, it'd be deja vu all over again. Harris Devane was the victim a year ago, tried to make it 60 or 50 laps, and this year Tim Steele is going to try to make it 53 laps, and that's 3 farther than Harris Devane didn't make it last year. Side-by-side battle, Sprague and Thompson. Devane is the lap car right behind these two as they battle for third spot.
You're right, Ned. 2 Fords teaming up here to try to go around Jack Sprague, so Devane very well may be a factor.
Yeah, he's definitely helping the Mark Thompson car there. Thompson is able to get on around now as Hillenberg there sitting on the back bumpers of Tim Steele.
What a muscle in that 16 car in the early younger motor as Tim Steele tries to lead the final 4 laps.
Harris Devane in the 5th position. In the 11th position. He's a lap down his 5th place on the track there right now.
He had lost that lap. Well, he'd be a factor in the Georgia Peanut Commission Fort Thunderbird. Harris, the peanut farmer out of Cuthbert, Georgia.
He got a lap down when they made green flag pit stops way back in the race. And just has run with the leader since then, but has not been able to get back in the lead lap.
Ford up front, the 16 car, the HS Dye, Simlake Ford Thunderbird. That is 1993 ARCA Series champion Tim Steele.
Now we see these 2 cars running up front as Tim Steele tries to break that draft once again. But Mark Thompson is going to catch them. He's going to be a player in this thing before it's over with. He's picking up their draft now, and I think he has a fast enough race car to catch them.
That'll make it Ford, Chevrolet, and Ford. It is Ford and Chevrolet here, 16 to Ford, 52 to Chevrolet. And as you said, then Mark Thompson now sneaking in, and he is the black car, and they're coming in a hurry.
Now, before he's going to have much of a chance, he's going to have to help the 52 car of Hillenberg get around. Unless he can just drive past Hillenberg, that's a tough chore to do without some drafting help.
Better hurry. White flag will come out this time by. 2 to go. Here is Sprague back in 4th spot. And now they are nose to tail and set up a 2-lap dash at the world's fastest stock car facility. Talladega, 2 to go in the Mountain Dew 500.
Hillenberg takes a look to the inside, may try the slingshot move coming off of turn 4. The next time by, they'll get the white this time.
White flag, and then you make the call.
Oh boy, this is a tough call to make. If Tim Steele can make it on fuel, he's going to make that Ford awfully wide. You can rest assured.
46 in the pits, Bob Hill, and a tough break for Kevin Ray, who's just gone behind the wall. He was running in the 8th spot on the lead lap.
Here comes Hillenberg.
Jay Dole's having run out of fuel. And side by side.
I think Hillenberg's going to do it. There was no contact there. These 2 cars go to the inside. Mark Thompson stuck out there. The Fords will line up, but Hillenberg seems to have the strongest car in a good line.
If he can get up in front of Steele, which it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do. Steele has been running very strong on the high side of the racetrack all day long. He's in the position he wants to be.
Chevrolet on the bottom, Ford up high. Now Ford comes down in front. They are 1-2, and Tim Steele will take the victory if he can hang on. Here comes Thompson for second spot, and whoa, a photo finish or a video finish for second as Tim Steele gets his second win. And yes, that young man is excited. And Kyle is standing by with Tom Sokolowski.
Hey, there's so many, I'm so happy. I don't know which one's the crew chief. I'm standing here with Tom Sokolowski. You guys, what? You got a Ford out there, but obviously it's got a Taurus motor in it to get that kind of fuel mileage. You guys gambled and it paid off.
Yeah, we went with all the caution laps. We gambled that we'd get a bunch, and we did. Everything worked out. It was a good day for us.
Gutsy Colin, they're paying for it now. They're the winners, guys.
And a victorious crew, Tom Sokolowski. They did the calculations, and they made the correct call. 140.9 miles, and that's how far that young man made it, as he is now on his way to victory lane for the second time in 1996. back at Talladega, one of ARCA's biggest paydays, $23,500 for the winner, Tim Steele, who's now in victory lane with our Bill Weber. Bill?
And Tim Steele with a big victory celebration. Little better than last time in Atlanta. Now you feel much better.
Man, you can enjoy this one. And that, tell you what, I was wondering if we were going to win this thing the whole time. It was definitely a race. I got back in traffic, lost the draft, and I think I learned a little bit today on, you know, what to do and what not to do, and what this car likes and what it don't like.
It likes gasoline, likes to make it last a long time.
Yeah, we ran out of gas coming down pit road, coming in here. You know, it was real close. We knew it was going to be a gamble, but you know, sometimes you come out on top, and we did today, and sometimes you don't.
Tell me about the last lap.
Everybody on the crew, Tom and Grady, they just kept telling me, just wiggle around, give them dirty air, and you know, they coached me through it, and it came out great. You know, I got to say hi to my wife, my daughter. It's my wife's birthday tomorrow, and we'll be home tonight. Love you both. It just feels great.
We'll say happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
And congratulations to Tim Steele.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, Brenda, from us, too. So the final results, guys, Tim Steele made it 140.9 miles.
That was a big surprise, Jerry. They was able to go that far, but they apparently figured it out and knew exactly what they could do. 9 cars winding up in the lead lap.
See, Harris Devane ended up finishing 11th back there. Some of the cars. Mark Gibson had a great run back in the car number 59, but he was involved in an incident. See, through 30th place. 40 cars finished the field. And the top 5 in points after 4 events of 28. Tim Steele will extend his point lead. 225 points now over second place Harris Devane, last year's co-rookie of the year. We'll sit down to Bill Weber, who's with our runner-up, Andy Hillenberg.
And Andy Hillenberg, it looked like maybe in the last mile you might get him.
Yeah, I really thought we had it. I mean, I'd been working on setting him up for 5 or 6 laps. I only had one move, and that was it. So I couldn't play it too early, because really Tim's car and our car were really close to the same speed. And the 66 started to go with me and then jumped out. I think, you know, being the lone Chevrolet in a pack coming down for the checkers, not the thing to do, but we held on. I think we got second, didn't we? You know, we'll get the thing geared up for Charlotte. Timmy and all the AC Delco boys will get us in Charlotte where there's not a draft, and maybe we can win that one.
And he's got a few laps at Charlotte, guys.
How about that? A lot of racing to come your way. Our Sunday buffet, breakfast Grand Prix of Argentina, the Grand Prix of European qualifying, and the Grand Prix of Europe at 7:50 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. IndyCar qualifying from Nazareth, 10 a.m. Eastern on the Deuce. NASCAR qualifying for the Winston Cup event, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. How about lunch? Well, we got a full menu. RPM today, Kenny Mayne and Company. NASCAR today, Dave Despain. Winston Select 500 and IndyCar on the grid at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Dinner, Shop Talk. That's Dale Earnhardt, of course. Indy Lights from Nazareth and RPM tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And how about a little more Tuesday night? Some leftovers. NASCAR Encore, the Winston Select 500 at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, for Bill Weber, Kyle Petty, Ray Dunlap, Ned Jarrett, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating 27-year-old Tim Steele on his second win in 1996 and his 6th career Super Speedway victory. So long, everyone, from Talladega.